has three bills. SB 616, that's file item number 3 again. Senator, you may proceed when ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, excuse me, and members. I'm honored to present SB 616 to you. Back in 2014, a number of API community members approached me to consider how the state can support the large amount of Asian students who take off several days from school every year to celebrate Asian Lunar New Year. As a representative of the largest API community of all legislative districts, I was compelled to find a way to honor my constituents and the millions of Chinese, Taiwanese, Korean, Filipino, and Vietnamese Californians who celebrate Lunar New Year as a significant part of their deeply held cultural ties and family traditions. In February of 2015, I introduced SB 616 with a sponsorship of 6 Asian community groups with bipartisan co-authors to make Asian Lunar New Year a day of special significance. In January of this year, SB 616 was unanimously approved by the Senate and sent to the Assembly. At that time, there were no other competing measures. As teachers present lessons in understanding diverse populations that make up our own communities, my sponsors and I believe it's essential to dedicate a portion of that discussion to the Lunar New Year, as it is the biggest holiday in the Eastern Hemisphere. Lunar New Year is such a big event in China that children take off an entire month from school. In New York State, Mayor de Blasio added the Lunar New Year to the New York public school calendar, allowing the city's Asian families to celebrate their important holidays with their children without tarnishing attendance records. When Lunar New Year falls on a school day, some city schools with large Asian populations have more than half their students absent that day. Imagine the shock for Asian immigrants here in California that their children must still attend school without even a public mention of the holiday that historically means so much to them. As I spend a lot of time working with the Asian community in my district, I can promise you that knowing the governor will proclaim Lunar New Year as a special day of significance goes a long way in building a sense of inclusion and community. Celebrations include several days of feasting and gift-giving with family and friends while they go to elaborate lengths to rid themselves of bad luck and usher in good luck for the new year. Some schools in my district have had a parade and displayed arts and crafts. But unless there's a significant input from the Asian community, there has not been a consistent acknowledgement of the holiday. In the spirit of embracing all children who are an integral part of California's rich cultural and ethnic diversity, it's appropriate to encourage the discussion of Lunar New Year in public schools, especially those with high Asian student populations. I'd now like to invite those who've traveled here in support of this measure to briefly speak.
Thank you, Senator. Witnesses in support.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and the members. My name is Lily Dean. I'm a representative from the Silicon Valley Chinese Association and one of the sponsors of the Senate Bill 616. It's indeed an honor to come here to speak to you today on this such an important topic to the API community. Senate Bill 616 is needed because it encourages schools to conduct appropriate exercises and discussions relating to the biggest holidays in the Eastern Hemisphere. The Asian community sees this special day of significance as a way to build bridges in the classroom and the community. Our celebrations are fun and focused on love, family, and renewal. It's the beginning of a new slate. Out with the old, in with the new. Some of our students have a hard time acclimating into their schools. This bill will encourage understanding and bring classmates together in fun activities. We understand that another measure about Asian Lunar New Year has been introduced. Unfortunately, it contains language that could be seen as divisive, and our tradition do not allow negative talk when celebrating Lunar New Year, even about important times in Chinese American history. We support putting that language in a different bill. Such language will bring bad luck to focus on past and present negative things. This is why it's important to all of our sponsors to support a simple, happy bill like Senate Bill 616. We welcome additional co-authors to our bipartisan bill and respectfully ask for your support of our community by supporting this bill. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Sam Ming, and our family drove here from Los Angeles and are grateful to be here. I am with Agents for Lunar New Year and also the 1441 Manufactured Home Residents Association, one of the numerous sponsors of SB 616. SB 616 was introduced in February 27th of 2015. It passed the Senate and was sent here to the Assembly January 19th. And to be clear, Lunar New Year has never been and should not be a political event. It is a celebration of starting out on a clean slate. To politicize this deeply held tradition goes against our culture and the important traditions and beliefs we hold regarding the Lunar New Year celebration. Nevertheless, we believe it is helpful to the entire community to understand Lunar New Year, as it is the biggest holiday in the Eastern Hemisphere, and it fosters goodwill and good luck to everyone. We also want to emphasize that this is a celebration of Asian Lunar New Year. It is not just Chinese New Year, and sometimes we always hear it's Chinese New Year, but in fact, many other ethnic groups celebrate it. Lunar New Year is celebrated by millions of Chinese, Taiwanese, Filipino, Korean, and Vietnamese residents as a significant part of their deeply held cultural family traditions. But unless Asian parents ask to have the holiday acknowledged by some kind of simple activity, many teachers do not realize how significant the holiday is to their students and families who are already trying to adjust to a foreign culture. SB 616 was introduced over a year ago with widespread Asian community support and bipartisan co-authors, covering all that is necessary to warrant the honor of Lunar New Year being named as a special day of significance, encouraging appropriate celebrations and activities. This is a simple bill that will unify the entire community with a cultural celebration instead of dividing it. Therefore, I respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Witnesses in support, additional witnesses, name and position only, please.
My name is Tina Ying. I'm representing Chinese American Equalization Association. I support this bill. Thank you.
My name is Diane Chong. I'm a teacher myself, and I also in the Chinese Association. I strongly support this. I grew up in China. My family and I immigrated to Hawaii when I was 15. And in Chinese New Year's, we family get together and we are really family oriented. And on the New Year's Day, we're not supposed to say any bad words. You know, whatever you want to wish, you can say, and then it become true. I really love the holidays. I always wish myself had long life. I hope you guys support this. Thank you.
My name is Jing Yang. I present the Global Chinese School and I support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senators. My name is Chan Jian from Sacramento, a Chinese teacher here, and I'm here in support of SB 616. Thank you.
My name is Ken Meng, the president of 1441 Manufactured Home Resident Association. I support.
Additional witnesses in support?
My name is Yi Ping Wu. I support the SB 616.
Thank you. Go ahead and keep coming up. You guys can come up now.
Yi Fu Wu. I support the bill.
Thank you. You guys, all of you come all the way up to the microphone, please.
Hi, my name is Shu Chen. I'm a resident of the city of Sacramento. I support this bill. Thank you. Hi, my name is Jennifer Shea. I'm the IT specialist from UC Davis Medical Center. I support SB 616.
My name is Judy Chen. I support this bill. I'm a resident of Elk Grove. Thank you.
I'm Alex Chen, engineer in San Jose. I'm representing Silicon Valley Chinese Association, and I'm here to strongly support this bill. Yeah.
I'm Yang, representing Asian American voters. I support this bill.
My name is Fan Jiao. I'm presenting 8020 Bay Area chapter in favor of this bill. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jimmy Liu. I come from Southern California, and I'm here strongly support SB 616. Thank you, guys.
My name is Yi Jiang. On behalf of the Chinese American Equalization Association, I strongly support this bill.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fang Bolanda. I'm from Southern California, Chinese American Equalization Association. I really support the SB 616 bill. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Wendy Zhao. I'm from Elk Grove Chinese Association. I'm in support of the bill. Thank you.
Keep coming up. Everybody can come up. Yep.
Hi, I'm Helen Shi, a worker for State of California. I'm here strong supporting SB 616.
Thank you.
My name is Jessica Rong. I support this bill.
I'm Jonathan Yu, representing the Salomon Chinese Association. We support the bill. Thank you.
My name is Tom, and I strongly support this bill.
Well done, young man. Any additional witnesses in support? Do we have one more coming up? No. Okay. Any witnesses in opposition? I'll bring it back to committee. Any comments or questions from committee? I will second the bill. I think it's a great bill. Senator, would you like to close?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I can't help but notice most of the committee has left, and I don't know whether that's by design or default, but I do understand that you heard in this committee another, what I'll call competing bill, and it shouldn't be a competing bill. This was introduced a year ago, February, and while it came over here in January and February of this year, a second bill was introduced that included my language along with some historical and current grievances. And as you heard from testimony today, Lunar New Year is about celebration. It's about fun. It's about family. It's about out with the old, creating a clean slate and moving forward. And to actually introduce into the language of this goes counter to the whole intent of Lunar New Year. And so you've seen a parade of people coming up explaining why this is important to them. I should point out that this bill has 6 sponsors, including the Asian Pacific Islander American Public Affairs Association, as we know as APAPA, Asians for Lunar New Year Group, Chinese American Equalization Association, Joint Chinese University Alumni Association of Southern California, Silicon Valley Chinese Association Foundation, the Orange Club, and many individuals. The other had no organized support other than legislators. That doesn't mean it's not important. And while I disagree with the negative language in the other one, there's no reason why these both can't go forward. I circulated a request for authorship, co-authorship, when I introduced my bill, and it is bipartisan. It's received bipartisan support. I've invited the author of the other bill to be a principal co-author of this. So I would hope that the committee will continue to move this forward, and I will continue to try to work out things with the author of the other measure. But I ask for myself, for these organizations, and these people who have made a long trip here to weigh into the political process, which frankly few, if any of them, have participated before. I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator. We appreciate your persistence and diligence on this matter and for your representation of the Chinese community. With that, the motion is do pass. And Secretary, please call the roll.
O'Donnell? Olson?
Aye.
Olson, aye. Kim? Aye. Kim, aye. McCarty? Santiago? Thurmond? Weber?
It's on call.
Thank you, Senator. You have 2 votes. We'll leave that bill on call for people to add on. And with that, are we at item 17?
SB 1156?
Yes. 1156? Okay. Which one is 1156? Item 11, SB 1156. Senator, you may present.
Thank you. Well, I've already said good afternoon, so I'll dispense with that. Regarding proposed amendments in the committee's analysis, we accept them with the clarifications that have been made with staff. Current law offers various types of transfer opportunities. The Open Enrollment Act, a program I've been working on for many years now, was designed to provide additional public school options for students who live in zip codes with low achieving schools and give them an option to transfer to a higher performing public school in another school district as measured by the Academic Performance Index, or API. The API, along with a specified, sometimes confusing legislatively mandated calculation, has been the previous method for identifying the 1,000 low-achieving schools whose enrollment assignment would trigger a student's eligibility for open enrollment. The last published list of 1,000 is outdated, with no new APIs being produced in the last 2 years. Also, it should be noted that some schools objected to the current formula, which resulted in some of the lowest performing schools in California not being on the list at all. With the state adoption of a new assessment system called the California Assessment of Student Performance in Progress, or CASP, and the temporary and possibly permanent hiatus on the publication of a new API, there's an interest in using updated definitions and information more accurately reflecting the concept of persistently low school performance. The API is no longer being updated, and the last published list is based on the old STAR program instead of the CASP scores. With all that said, I've been told in a legal opinion from our Legislative Counsel that the Superintendent of Public Instruction is still required to produce a list during this limbo time. SB 1156 updates the eligibility for additional public school options for students enrolled in persistently low-performing schools by conforming definitions of persistently low performance in the newly enacted federal Every Student Succeeds Act, signed into law in December of 2015 by President Obama, and California's new local control funding formula statutes. The Open Enrollment Act provides students who are otherwise zip code assigned to the lowest performing schools a choice to attend a higher performing public school, even if the neighborhood school is persistently low performing. SB 1156 eliminates the confusing list of 1,000 schools. SB 1156 conforms the definition of low performing to state and federal law, and the proposed program changes to Open Enrollment Act included the prioritization of transfers of English learners, foster care students, and students in poverty. A report and more transparency were unanimously approved in the Senate and explicitly address the late letters of opposition we have received. Those letters appear to address current law, but not the bill in print today before this committee. In closing, SB 1156 helps the state protect students' constitutional guarantee to equitable opportunity for a quality public education in California. I have with me sponsor of the bill, Bill Lucia, president of EdVoice, to speak in support.
Mr. Chairman, members, Bill Lucia with EdVoice, we do support the bill. We would like to point out that under current law, the program is, as the Ledge Council has opined, still operational and would have a scope of 1,000 schools as being proposed today. With the committee amendments, we estimated to be in the ballpark of 390 or 400 schools. With regard to amendment number 3, we would recommend that you consider whether or not to incorporate charters that are specifically targeting dropout programs in an alternative accountability system, which may or may not be the intent of the committee in terms of adding charters. So we would defer to you and your staff on that. Just for some background, just for posterity, there's various types of choice programs, the interdistrict transfers, which are discretionary programs on the part of school districts where the district of residence is allowed to veto their charter schools. There's home schools. There's other ways that people can, if they're affluent, they can move into another zip code, and that provides choice. Or if they're affluent, they can afford possibly a private school. There's the Allen Bill Place of Employment that the chair, as you know, is recommending the repeal of the sunset date on the Allen Bill. There's also another bill on districts of choice that you'll hear later. This would be, in California, the only bill that prioritizes the choice after you look at siblings at being kids that are English learners, foster care kids, and kids in poverty. And we think that this explicitly addresses the concerns that you've heard and maybe still might hear of folks that are unaware about the bill in print in terms of how it affects the issue of the racial composition and the diversity in the district. So we hope that you would support the bill. We ask for your aye vote. And again, highlighting the point that it actually prioritizes English learners, foster care students, and students in poverty in terms of the eligible folks to enroll in the districts of enrollment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any others in support? Please come forward. State your name, affiliation, and position only on the bill. I don't see any in support. Any in opposition?
Erica Hoffman on behalf of the California School Boards Association. We currently do have an opposed position on the bill, primarily based upon the fact that we'd still like to see the study from the Department of Education, and we had some concerns with the way the program was originally set up in statute. However, with the amendments, I think I'm liking them. I need to see the print as far as to specifically go through them, but it does go a great way to alleviating a lot of our concern and our opposition to the bill. Hopefully, if we can come to full agreement on the language, I will be able to remove our opposed position.
Thank you. Any opposition? Seeing no opposition, any comments from the committee? It's been moved and seconded. It's been moved and seconded. You may close.
As stated before, under current law, the superintendent is required to come up with a list of 1,000 schools. It's virtually impossible to do that with any level of accuracy with old API data, which is what's being done now. This bill cleans that up. We've worked with the committee to accommodate everything that we can, and we certainly hope for your aye vote.
Thank you. Secretary, please call the roll. The motion is to pass as amended to the Appropriations Committee.
O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Olson? Kim? Aye. Kim, aye. McCarty? Santiago? Aye. Santiago, aye. Thurmond? Weber?
The bill is on call. Has three votes. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. And we're going to move on, Mr. Huff, Senator Huff, to file item number 17, SB 1432.